Hello everyone, you have come to Tata Comic Preview channel. Let read together. Have fun. One more reason why they should pay close attention. Qingcheng, the superior three sects are here as well. Look at how serious they are. They must feel threatened. Shui Ruohua pointed at a few sects as she spoke in shock. Tell me, do you really think Demon Scheming Sect threatens the superior three sects that had been unchanged for thousands of years? Chu Qingcheng had a radiant smile. When he steps in, no one's position is ever safe. I've seen it happen so many times it has become a common occurrence. The bigger and stronger they are, the more likely they are to be thrown down from their throne by him. It's only natural to feel nervous. Sister Qingcheng, you believe in him that much? The next four sects are in an entirely different league than the ones before. Dan fluttered her big eyes. Chu Qingcheng's expression never changed. He is a miracle worker. If there's anything he wants to do, then nothing is impossible. I do not doubt it. The rest's hearts chilled looking at her. Only Xian Xiaoyu's face turned heavy and morose. Whoosh. The judge was back in the center of the stage. He bowed before the exalted double dragons sitting in the highest spots and then shouted, "Disciples of Demon Scheming Sect and Sword God Sect, enter." As his words fell, the two groups walked in. Sword God Sect was led by Wen Tao, though he seemed to have lost his casual nature, now sporting a grave and serious look. Demon Scheming Sect was led by Zhuo Fan, of course, only this time they were just 9, bearing Lu Xia. It was clear that the guy got the worst wounds yesterday and could not fight. With the two sides' disciples in the arena, the judge looked from one to another, then spoke to Zhuo Fan. Demon Scheming Sect has only 9 participants and is at a disadvantage. Do you have a replacement? Thank you for your concern, Elder. Demon Scheming Sect cares about quality and not quantity. We will fight even if we are missing one man. Zhuo Fan cupped his hands, striking a heroic figure and earning the respect and admiration of the crowd. The judge nodded and turned to Wen Tao for his response. Wen Tao simply smiled and cupped his hands to him and the Demon Scheming Sect. My Sword God Sect is not one to take advantage of one's moment of weakness, but Demon Scheming Sect is just so strong that we have to take it seriously. Even if it had only one person remaining, Brother Zhuo, we'd still fight him, all 10 of us as determined as ever. That's why. Brother Zhuo, please show leniency. Brother Wen is too polite. Zhuo Fan cupped his hands as well, his eyes flashing. Wen Tao sure is slick and charismatic. He is devoid of the arrogance that plagues those with status, bereft of a loser's cowardice. Instead, he shows a humble and steadfast attitude, his kindness hiding a ruthless nature. He does not lose his pride and does not flaunt it either. While this won't make him outstanding, he does garner respect with his amiable nature. Just like they say, the gentle sword is sharp and smooth. Since both sides agree, we will begin the match. The judge flicked his hand and shouted, "Open the dimension." The last battle of the middle 3 sects challenge stage, between Demon Scheming Sect and Sword God Sect, begins. Whoosh. Those two elders once again walked on stage and opened a path to the valley. Wen Tao smiled and offered kindly, "Brother Zhuo, after you."
Oh no.
Brother Wen, after you. Zhuo Fan returned his gesture, and the two sides vanished in a white flash. The audience was in awe. The Demon Scheming Sect isn't savage to everyone who walks their way. At the very least, towards the Demon Soul Sect and the Sword God Sect, one demonic and the other righteous, they look quite friendly. That meant Heaven Trailing Sect's brutal fate wasn't without reason. You're just too cocky. Why would the other give you any respect if you start threatening another? Soon, the people came to an understanding of the sect's demeanor. Demon Soul Sect was one to value duty and gratitude, Sword God Sect stood on ceremony, and Demon Scheming Sect responded with the same coin depending on their adversary. As for Heaven Trailing Sect, the eyes of the crowd turned to their location to see just 2 people. Run Song, among them, looked bitter and stared at Zhuo Fan with all the hatred he could muster. This attitude earned the people's contempt. Showing off gets you killed off, idiot. Suddenly, the hearts of the people had made their choice. If the status of the 9 sects shifted in this competition, some strong empires would take the initiative to invite certain sects among them. The benefits, of course, would be greater for both sides. While demon scheming sect's cruel act on the heaven trailing sect had earned their disgust, the next 2 matches showed how heroic they were, changing the public's view. As for the disgust, it was all shifted to heaven trailing sect. They were sure of it now that they deserved what they got. Who told you to be rampant? A petty and unceasingly pedantic sect will never have enough. In this manner, the funders wrote heaven trailing sect as the worst sect to have. Unless they had absolutely no choice in the matter, they'd never accept it. Otherwise, they would shoot down any attempts this sect had to come to their lands. As if he could sense everyone's despise and disgust, Ransong glared at them, and they balked in fear. Then Ransong turned back to hating Zhuo Fan with gnashed teeth. Wasn't he the victim here? How did he earn public ire after all he had been through? It made no sense. Elder Qi grumbled, his face heavy. However, just then, a faint voice reached their ears. Elder Qi, young Master Ren, my master would like to send a message to sect leader Ren. Would you care to talk? Who are you? The 2 turned around and saw someone covered in all black, shaking and instilling a feeling of weakness. As if a light breeze could topple him. His head hung low, blocking his face. When he rose his head, his pale face was there for all to see, shocking the 2 to the core. Lucia, what do you want? Meanwhile, Zhuo Fan's team had returned to the valley. Just like last time, he jumped back and said to Wen Tao, like I said. Who could get on my level? Before he finished, Wen Tao's teasing came, I knew you'd do this, so I came up with the perfect way to deal with your 8 bodyguards. 8? Zhuo Fan raised an eyebrow and mocked, you're an ethereal stage expert, and I have 6 that can match you. Though 1 is down with wounds, 5 is still enough. So where did you come up with 8? Besides, all 10 of you are ethereal stage experts. You could easily handle them. That just won't do. Since Brother Zhuo set up this trial, I must brave it myself. Won't I earn Brother Zhuo's contempt by using my junior brothers to resolve problems? Wen Tao smiled. The other 9 sword god sect disciples, Xia Tiansheng included, nodded. They stepped back and looked solemn, determined not to get involved. Qi Chonglong squinted and grew angry. Wen Tao, are you saying you can take us 8 together by yourself? Humph, talk about arrogance. You might be in the 4th layer, but we have 2 in the 3rd layer, 1 in the 2nd layer, 2 in the 1st layer, and 5 ethereal stage experts. Not even you can beat us. That remains to be seen. When Tao sneered, sometimes, a difference in cultivation does not reflect a difference in strength. Brother Zhuo is the perfect example of this, always able to overcome the gap in the most overwhelming fashion. While we are just 1 layer apart, our strengths are another matter altogether. When Tao chuckled and shot forth, Brother Zhuo, you'll be fighting soon enough. This is just a warm-up. In mere moments I'll deal with these guys, who won't be able to do anything. What nerve! You take us for nothing, is that it? Think you will reach Steward Zhuo that fast? Qi Chonglong huffed and made a sign. In an instant, a seal 100 meters high appeared overhead and slammed down on Wen Tao. Wen Tao couldn't care less, leisurely pointing 2 fingers ahead. Whoosh! A sword wave clashed with the huge seal, sending it flying. It then disappeared midway, having returned to Qi Chonglong. Qi Chonglong shuddered and spat blood. He sank to his knees, unable to get up again. What? Only 1 blow? The crowd was in an uproar, unable to believe their eyes. To them, Qi Chonglong was second in strength to Zhuo Fan. They never thought it possible just a layer difference, even when the soul was taken out, would still be defeated after 1 blow. Such a difference made no sense. All turned grave as they watched Wen Tao. Even Zhuo Fan, though he did not care much, he did have a vague smile. Sorry, Brother Qi. I went easy, and you should just lie there for 6 hours, and you'll be fine. Wen Tao walked on, speaking words of comfort to Qi Changlong, as if to show sympathy for the loser. But the look he got from Qi Changlong was that of refusal and indignation. This is naked humiliation. Wen Tao wasn't one to be outrageous, maybe not even aiming to humiliate him. Still, having his all-out attack flicked away by a finger, this was the second time this top genius of demons scheming sect had received guidance, bearing Zhuo Fan. This was the gap in strength. This was the gap between the top of the middle three sects and the lower three sects. Yes, they were challenging the superior three sects, but all knew full well who the instigator was. Other than a freak like Zhuo Fan, who could even take on superior three sects disciples, the rest were still lower three sects material. No matter what tricks Zhuo Fan used to grow them to a middle three sect level, a mere clash with a true genius of a middle three sect showed just how far they still were. Even Heaven Trailing Sect and their cowardly disciples, did they not have the Song twins? Those two beat all 6 of them like nothing. Only when Zhuo Fan stepped in were they dealt with. In Demon Soul Sect's match, Han Yunfeng was clearly weaker than them by a layer, but he pushed on one fight after the next. Ignoring the last 3, the first 3 fights were done at full power. He fought 3 people and still won. This time, they were up against Wen Tao, the strongest in the middle 3 sections. Only now, it dawned on them just how lacking they were. Qi Changlong looked up at Bai Lian to see her use all she had but ended up defeated in the same brief manner as he was. Wen Tao went through them with practiced ease, like they weren't even worth the attention. Wen Tao was called the gentle sword, his mind was sharp and he paid close attention to courtesy. He held no contempt for any of them. But even so, it was because of their profound weakness that it made this upstanding peer brush them off. It gave Qi Changlong a deep feeling of powerlessness. Middle 3 sects and lower 3 sects were different breeds. They might earn a middle 3 sect spot, but catching up to a real middle 3 sect would take years and years of hard work. Steward Zhuo had taken them here, but it was up to them to do the rest. Qi Changlong sighed within, having come to a decision.